Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, very official. I also have one of these. Gives me a lot of power, and I like it. Thank you all for joining us for the session. Bridging Continents, the Zero Project Regional Conferences. So first of all, I hope you enjoyed the Zero Project Conference so far. And if you have, I have good news for you. This is not the last conference this year that will happen in the name of the Zero Project, but we have actually 3 more Zero Project conferences to go in Asia Pacific, India, and Ivo America. And I have my wonderful partners here next to me to actually talk about what you can expect in the next few months. I'm Anja. I am 31, I'm white, I have blonde hair, I'm wearing a blazer that is brownish. I have a Zero Project button, so that's a button with a little green flower, which is made out of felt. And I'm wearing a very floral black and white shirt. At the Zero Project, I am in charge for our regional conferences, so that's why I'm here. And also, I'm the one coordinating the delegations to join our team in the respective regions. Next to me, we have, and I start from the right side, Alvin Tan from SG Enable, based in Singapore, who is Assistant Director for Accessibility and Assistive Technology. Next to me, on the left-hand side, is Mira Shenoy, CEO and founder of Youth for Jobs, based in India. We have Soledad Lara Concha. I hope I pronounced it right. You're smiling. So maybe yes, maybe no. And you lead the Corporate Affairs Manager for Fundación Descúbreme, based in Chile. And then you think we have 3 conferences. So who is the person all the way to the left? This is Kyle Keen. And he's actually representing one of the delegates that joined us in Singapore last year to share his experience and why he joined us for the regional conference and what he can share with us. But before we go to that, I would like each of the fellow regional partners to present what their idea is behind hosting a Zero Project conference in their region, what they have planned for this year, and what you can expect in order to build bridges, because that's the core aim that we have, is to connect the regional and international disability inclusion ecosystem. And without further ado, I will pass on in a chronological order to Mira. And if we can start, yeah, perfect, thank you so much.
Happy to be here. I'm brown-skinned, short hair, spectacles, bright red pullover, and black trousers, which you can't see because they're hidden. So, first of all, namaste, and welcome to India. What do we do in the Zero India conference, which we've had for the last 3 years, and it's really carving a niche for itself among the conferencing in India? We bring a whole range of stakeholders who it's important, right from funders, companies. We have the company, the only company association of India who's our partner. We have the NGOs, we have the persons with disabilities themselves, the researchers, educational institutions. And with this kind of mix, obviously, the conversations are deep, and it's a beautiful networking opportunity. If you think why India, you should hear what Sam Altman of OpenAI said in the India AI conference, which just concluded. He said, no one can ignore India globally because OpenAI has something like 100 million viewers from India every week. And in that summit, there was every single CEO from any AI or tech company globally, because you cannot afford to ignore India because of the large size of its market on one hand, and the other is the tremendous innovations which are happening there, nurtured by the government, by the private sector, and a whole range of stakeholders. Some snippets from the last conference. We had Catherine, we were very lucky to have Her Excellency Catherine Weiser, who's the Austrian ambassador to India. And when she came there, she just found what a wonderful bridge this was between India and Europe. And she also liked the fact that there was a very active interface between academia and what's happening on the ground. We had the Indian government representative there, and ILO Junger, who actually said that he finds that there's so much learnings from the innovations from India, and the Zero Project Conference India is a natural bridge between the global and India innovations. Some of the highlights of the conference were the interesting sessions we had on Indian grassroots, on women with disabilities, on AI and tech, which were cutting across all sessions. We had the India-Africa session, because we know the Global South is emerging as important, accessibility, inclusive arts, and the exhibition of AT and AD, and interesting products made by people with disabilities themselves. So this year, on 7th, 8th, 9th September, the conference is happening, and we've decided to have it in Mumbai. Why Mumbai? Because it's the hub of business, and we hope to have the corporates actively involved in this. So you'll have panel discussions, the Global Ability Photograph Challenge, which we have. The awards will be given there on the first day. And the second will be a site visit for you to understand some of the interesting innovations which take place in India. You can interact with the Indian participants who showcase their innovations, attract investments and scale. This is for the India participants, and for those of you who come from across the world, you can meet the India innovators, showcase yours there, and explore the market. In fact, we ourselves have been working with one or two of the global innovations we come, and it's really been very interesting for us contextualizing it to the large India market which exists. Thank you, and welcome to India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mira. Can I ask you a question before we move to the next speaker? What was your motivation behind doing a Zero Project, bringing the Zero Project conference to India?
I think I've attended the Zero conference here for 2 years, and I realized that what a nice melting ground it was of ideas, of networking, of partnerships to deepen your work. And I thought that if you could even bring a slice of it to India, I think 1 + 1, then Anya will not become 2, but it will possibly be 12.
Thank you, Mira. And one thing I really love about the conference in India is the opening with the ceremonial lamp, the lighting of the lamp. So don't miss this one. We go over to Singapore. Alvin.
Thanks. Maybe I click first, right? Thank you. Okay, thanks, Anya, and a very good afternoon to everyone here. Coming from a warm tropical country, I think the snow this morning was quite a pleasant surprise, so I'm hoping to enjoy it as much as I can. So hi, everyone. My name is Alvin. I'm from SG Enable. So just a very quick description of myself. I'm an Asian man in my 40s, wearing a black suit, specs, and mostly black hair. I mean, I have more white hair than I expected, but I'm glad you couldn't see me from there, so all good. Right. Okay, so I'm here to share about the Zero Project Asia Pacific Symposium that's going to take place in Singapore in November. I cannot promise you any snow, but I can promise you with the warm sun, maybe some rain, and definitely very high humidity, right? So be prepared. You have been warned. Right. So the next slide. Right, so before I begin, just a very quick description, of my organization. So for Actually Enable is a charity that has been set up by the Ministry of Social and Family Development back in 2013, and we serve as the focal agency for disability inclusion in Singapore. So by that, what we mean is that we work with non-profit organizations, private and public organizations, to lower barriers and to create a more inclusive society where persons with disabilities are able to live meaningful and dignified lives. So our collaboration with Zero Project, I think now we are into the third year of our collaboration, and we are very delighted to continue to build on top of this collaboration and to broaden our networks. Right? Okay, so just a very quick recap of what happened last year. So the Zero Project Asia Pacific Symposium last year was held in the Enabling Village. So the Enabling Village is an inclusive community space where persons with and without disabilities come together to interact very seamlessly and think about how can we actually create a more inclusive society together in the future. And the theme last year was on accessibility innovations. So where speakers, they were sharing their insights at the plenary sessions, and this actually went on to spark on more conversations online and offline. And the partnership that we have with Zero Project, I think we saw more than 60 international participants from more than 10 countries. So I didn't know that Carl was going to be here, so I think you can add on, since you are there at the session itself, to share more about what you see, right? Okay, so I think just now Anya asked about what's the beauty of holding the conference, right? So I think having that conference where you bring the international and the local communities together, I think that's really the spirit of the whole conference, coming together, having that discussion, exchanging knowledge, exchanging your networks, and I think collectively that's how we can actually do more to improve the disability community globally, right? So I think that's really the beauty of having this conference in Singapore, right? So the delegation was also, oops, sorry about that. Okay, there you go. Right.
I got it.
Okay, technical issue.
It's collaboration.
Maybe I'll leave you with that. Right. So for the delegation last year, we were also treated to a tour of the Enabling Village, where some of the stops we made include TechAble, which is a Center for Assistive Technology, which is also a Zero Project awardee back in 2019. And they also visited the Accessibility Lab, which was recently set up to highlight the importance of digital accessibility in the country. They were also treated to a sneak peek into the extension building that actually was set up to provide more services to address the needs of the post-18 services. So if you have been in the other room, M1, just a bit earlier on, you have heard a bit about the building that we call Vista. And this year, we actually, it's officially launched. So what you can look forward to for this year's conference is, as usual, the plenary sessions, where there's going to be very meaningful discussions on the theme of social innovations. But at the same time, there's also a chance to visit the newly set up, fully launched operational extension building called the Vista, where some of the stops could include the Future Care Planning Resource Center, which actually empowers persons with disabilities and their caregivers to start planning about for long-term care for the person with disabilities. Another stop will also be the Independent Living Studio, which is actually a training space for persons with disabilities to pick up daily essential independent living skills in a simulated public housing unit. So the whole idea is to provide a very safe environment for them to pick up these skills so that they can go on to live more independently in the future. Right? And lastly, so leading up to the Zero Project Asia Pacific Symposium, actually there are also two other events that you can consider. So I'm sure some of you should be very familiar with the Technology Forum, which I think took place a few days ago. And we are looking at having the similar Technology Forum. Oh, I see Gautam over there. Right? Right. The organizer for the Technology Forum, we are looking at hosting it on the 9th of November. And on the 10th of November, we are looking at having Actually Enable-led event focusing on inclusive hiring called the Enabling Mark Business Conference. And finally followed by the Zero Project Asia Pacific Symposium on the 11th. So delegates are actually welcome to attend all 3 events. So I hope this will make actually your trip a more fruitful one to Singapore. So do mark your dates, 9 to 10 of November. And in the meantime, you can actually visit our website for more information. Please share that when the details are ready, the Zero Project team will just send it out through the newsletters. But yeah, feel free to, please do mark your calendars first. So with that, thank you very much. And yes, I promise you the high humidity. Do come by.
And those were exactly 6 minutes. I want to emphasize that the Enabling Village is such a special place. I think I've never been to a place that is so wholesome and dedicated towards creating a space that is wonderful for persons with disabilities, and it's really worthwhile visiting it, and your head offices that are located in there. Wonderful, and then we make our way from Singapore all the way to the other side, to Chile, with Soledad.
Thank you, Anya. I'm glad to be here. I'm delighted with this conference. This is my first time, and it's been great. I'm a woman in my early 50s. I have brown, long hair, a red jacket, and a floral scarf. Well, as Anya said, I'm from Chile. I come to invite you to go there this November, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of what we do and we can offer over there. Fundación Descúbreme was awarded in 2017 here, the Zero Project, and we came to represent our project and our partners. We saw this enormous group of people working for the people with disability and with the people with disabilities. And since 2019, Fundación Descúbreme is been working together as representing Zero Project for Latin America and Ibero-America, actually, to enhance the impact of inclusive solutions in Ibero-America. We wanted to show the world what is being America also doing in these aspects. So, because it was little representation of Chile and Latin American countries in these Zero Project Awards. And so we worked a lot, and we made it to represent now the 20% of the total participation each year. So for us, it's a great goal that we accomplished. And to date, under Zero Project Ibero-America, we have organized 6 regional conferences, gathering over 400 experts and from around the world, and reaching over 6,000 people globally in Spanish-speaking and now Portuguese-speaking people. To see a little bit of what we did in our 2 last conferences that were in Santiago, Chile. We had more than 500 people inside. We had lots of visitors. I can see here lots of friends from ONCE and from Zero Project. We collaborate together to do this project. And Special Olympics did a great presentation and made us move and made us exercise and dance in the conference. It was very happy, cheerful, has some of the Latin taste that everyone expects when go to South America. So we wanted to have a little bit of that. Now, this November 24th, we are going to have the new conference in Santiago, Chile again. This is going to be the regional conference for Iberoamerica on inclusive employment and corporate engagement for inclusion. These are topics that are very important in Latin America. We are working a lot for people with disability to be in regular jobs, to develop themselves and their families, and so for us this is a main topic. The official languages, as I said, we are with Spanish, Portuguese, and English, of course, and with international sign and live captioning in Spanish and Portuguese. The event will gather key stakeholders to discuss best practices, solutions, and strategies to promote inclusive employment and the rights of people with disabilities in the region. If you are interested in what we do over there and in all Iberoamerica, you can picture these QRs, which is our LinkedIn and Instagram. We do a lot of fun things. We share a lot of information, good practices. We want to hear from you also, and we want to work together to do a world with no barriers for people with disabilities. That's my name. You can reach me on my email over the website of Descúbreme, and we are in Spain now. We have an office in Spain, so we can also be here to get the things from first hand, and we want to bring the things that we are doing over there so you can see us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Soledad. And we did actually see also the Zero Project dance salsa at the opening. So if you want to see that as well, come to Chile. And also, because I see their teams, it's not only a sole effort by the persons who are on stage here, but it's teams behind that. So we have the SG Able team there, we have the Fundación Descúbreme team there, we have Youth for Jobs there. So it's a team effort, and it also needs to be recognized as a team effort, and it's a lot of fun. Thank you. So now that we heard what you can expect from the regional conferences, I would like to give you an overview of what the Zero Project does and the international delegations that we curate. If we can start the presentation, please. Could I get the clicker? Thank you. Wonderful. So as I mentioned, I'm the one at the Zero Project in charge for curating the delegations. What does this entail? So if you come with us to the regions, it is a curated week of activities. It will be not only the conferences, but together with our partners, we have social gatherings, it's intimate dinners, a lot of fun, because you can never forget the fun. It's not walking opportunities, so it's very small. So you have 20 to maximum 60. That was quite an exception in Singapore last year. People coming together from different countries. It's usually 10 to 20 different countries. Coming together from the Zero Project network to meet and engage with the regional and local ecosystems. This would be networking dinners, but it's also exploring the culture, because when you're there, you need to explore and feel, because there's so much to offer, and we want to give that insight to experience disability inclusion on site in the countries. And also, it is especially my task to coordinate with the teams to get you speaking slots, to also showcase what you can bring to the regions and to help you engage and network with whoever might be relevant to you. So, as mentioned, it's a small circle, it's very exclusive, and you'll be able to on top of it, enjoy India, Singapore, and Chile. And I think this is time where we can have Kyle come in. Kyle, by the way, I forgot to mention your organization. I'm sorry. So let me introduce you properly. Kyle Keane, you are senior lecturer in assistive technologies at the University of Bristol, United Kingdom. So for me, I would like if you could share, for one, why did you decide to come to the Zero Project Asia Pacific Symposium last year, and what impact has it had?
Have I hit? Yeah, there we go. Okay, hello everybody. Thank you very much, Anya, and genuinely an honor to be in a panel with people who are making such global impact. I like this introduction thing, although I don't actually know what I look like because I am myself almost completely blind. So I will instead describe, I'm wearing a cashmere sweater which I found as a reused garment in a charity shop, and it's incredibly soft and fuzzy, and I love it. And then I have a layered jacket on top of that. I am in my early 40s, and I come genetically from Ireland and Italy. So that's what I can offer you in the realm of description. I had come, 18 months ago, I transitioned from a former university into University of Bristol, and I was trying to establish myself over in the more European region and trying to make partners over here. Somebody told me the Zero Project conference itself was the key place to come make partners and find networks and figure out who is really making things happen. So at the very last minute, with incredible graciousness, I was allowed to get an invite and came to the Zero Project last year here in Vienna. I ran around as I did and tried to network and introduce myself to everyone and say, I'm here, I'm a technologist, I'm an engineer. I have been, working in the School of Computer Science in a number of very prestigious places, and I want to build technology to help people with disabilities like myself. I got to meet all sorts of incredible and wonderful people. It took me a few weeks when I got back to Bristol to integrate and take action on some of the incredible opportunities, because I think, as many of you know, we often work in isolation in trying to do advocacy inside of systems where we are, by design, out there fighting on the front lines of building knowledge and building infrastructure and building awareness and trying to gather resources and justify the work that we do. So it was really a transformative experience to be surrounded in a place where I didn't have to introduce the context of the work I did. I could just start with the impact I was making in the things that I do. And I think a lot of people gather a similar sense of community in the Zero Project. Based on that, I by some gracious luck, got invited to join in the Singapore, Asia Pacific region, and had a fantastic time. So I travel on my own blind, but I'm never really on my own. I have quite a few technologies and people who I can reach out to at various stages, including gracious event organizers who are willing to have people in place to help bridge gaps. And I found that to be extraordinarily true in Singapore. I was, met with my requests that were reasonable, with reasonable responses and accommodations. I got to enter the event, and one of the most potent things for me is when I'm treated as, an established academic with a large research lab that pushes technological boundaries in many different directions. I'm often met as a blind person first, and then I have to convince people to engage with me in a fundamentally different way. I did not experience that type of ableism in the Singapore region, so I was met, people looked at my name tag or said, "Hi, where do you come from? What do you do?" And I didn't have the levels of implicit bias that many people with disabilities do in certain circumstances. So that was an incredible experience, and I did make a friend from UNICEF who works in Cambodia, and it turns out I had a hackathon that I was planning in Cambodia. So this was a good example, and not everyone from every region has the resources to come to large international global events. And these small regional events allowed me to network with people who were in the region who weren't able to get to Vienna, but I met them in Singapore. We were able to then meet up when I ran my hackathon in the border conflict in Cambodia, and found support and ecosystems which allowed me to bring some of the work that I do into an unfamiliar country. And as many of you probably know, moving innovation and advocacy into a new country involves a lot of very important subtle changes, and you need trusted local partners who can help you implement and spread resources in ways that are safe and avoid exploitation or adverse effects that you may not be able to anticipate as somebody who's looking to help transfer knowledge between regions. So yeah, it was an incredible opportunity, and I look forward. University of Bristol has a strategic partnership with NUS, National University of Singapore, and we are now building an enterprise campus in Mumbai. So I look forward to establishing some really explicit things, since I am trying to build some programs around assistive technology, as Bristol has hired me to do this. So, and yo soy de California y habla un poco español. So hopefully I can also make some impact there too. So thank you, Anya.
Thank you, Kyle. If I can ask you, since you traveled by yourself, as you said you're blind, how did you, what would you like to share with other persons who might be nervous going to other countries, and about your experience of doing this in a rather curated way?
All right, I'm back on. Okay. What to share? It's not easy. It's not easy for anybody, though. So going to a new country, most people are too scared to do it, and I think especially in our global climate right now, there's a lot of fear around uncertainty, and an act of active resistance can be to push out into unfamiliar places and to make friends with people who you may not immediately understand. That involves a level of vulnerability that has been a part of my life for a long time, but seems to be increasing in intensity. So, again, I started by coming to this conference, making friends. There is a level of, when you interact with somebody and they figure out what the scope of assistance that's actually helpful in a given context, their anxiety also drops, because there's a bidirectional learning that has to happen, and it takes an incredible amount of patience from both sides to engage in a new type of relationship, but it's rare to find a community that's willing to do that. So there's a bit of, ask for what you need and have patience, and realize that, there may have to be alternative ways to accomplish some of the goals. I come here, I could have a sighted guide, but I really find this place incredibly warm and welcoming, and I can walk around and people will come up to me and talk to me. Many other professional conferences in other countries that I attend in a more traditional academic role, I need somebody to actively go engage me because people are nervous to approach. So, make friends with the rare opportunity that you have to be in a room and to engage, and then, build the relationship slowly and have patience with each other.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you. And I see Gotham in the room. And he didn't know that this was happening, but I'm surprising him with it. Since we don't only have Zero Project conferences in different regions, but we're also expanding the model of a technology forum, which, broken down, it's a very curated small space or exclusive group to match innovators to investors and multipliers. It's a 4-hour event. It's pitches and networking, so it's a very simple model, if you want to put it like that. And we're trying to explore how we can bring this to other regions and to further support ICT innovations. And Gotham is one of our partners in Singapore. And would you like to share a few words about what to expect and how the model can also work in other regions?
No, absolutely. So for me, I think one of the things that we did this for the first time in Singapore last year. It was more of a pilot. one of the things we found was there is a lot of innovation that's going around in the world which needs to be brought to light. So the Tech Forum is one of the avenues or channels to do this, right? This year, we want to try and go into smaller, not smaller, but more regional within Southeast Asia. So we're planning smaller events in Bangkok, Jakarta, Manila, and KL. And then we pick the top 2 or 3 from there to fly down to Singapore on November 9th. Again, for me, commercial startups or assistive technology startups, I guess they all have the same journey, regardless of what the segment of society they serve. And we are happy to help incubate and accelerate them.
Thank you, Gotham. And I realize that we've now been talking about Singapore a lot. It's not meant to be a priority. It's just, that was accidental. I wanted to give also the floor to questions. I don't know, is anyone in the room interested in actually going to the regions and would like to ask our organizing and hosting organizations any clarifying questions?
Sorry, I missed the dates in Chile. What dates were the Chile conference?
Chile, November 24th.
I have a question for Soledad. You mentioned that you've done 7 regional conferences across South America. Where were they?
We have made 6 conferences, but the first one I think was in Spain, and the others were online because we had in the pandemic years. So the last 2 were in Santiago physically, and from them we are going to do them in Santiago.
Okay, if there's no more questions, what I would like to, please, if we could share the last slide deck again. There was a QR code. And to anyone who's interested to sign up and express your interest to join us in Singapore, India, and Chile, all of them or only one, please do scan this QR code. We'll collect all the interests and then get back to you with concrete dates, hotel recommendations. It will be a planned agenda that we're playing with activities. So here you'll be informed and stay in the loop. And if you're interested, please sign up and I will reach out to you. Are there any final words or recommendations that you would like to share? Okay. In this case, the session is adjourned. On time.